Hello, my name is Stein Danielsen. I'm the Chief Solutions Officer and co-founder of Cognite. Just a few years ago, having robots run around on industrial facilities would be seen as science fiction. But industrial tasks are really a good fit for robots. Most of the time they are repetitive, they can be dangerous, and also sometimes even boring for the operators. This is the perfect task for a robot. Using robots, we can cut costs, we can be more precise, and we can also keep people out of harm's way. But we can't just have a robot hardware and put it out into the field and expect it to solve these use cases. Rather, we need a combination of software and hardware to solve the use case. Cognite is a software company. What we do is that we help digitalize industrial companies. What that means is that we lift all the sensor data, all their digital drawings, everything they have in all their different systems, even CAD files and 3D models. We lift that into one system, and we deploy software on the robots that take this information into account to be smart about doing robotics operations. I'll talk a little bit about 4 different use cases. So first off, we have the autonomous inspections. So when we deploy robots to do autonomous inspections, that could be 3D scanning an area. So you can have a 3D updated scan every day of your facility. It can be taking 360 images, so you have a sort of like a Google Street View of your entire site. And this allows for very good remote operations planning. It can also be reading gauges. So for instance, going round every hour to read out digital gauges, analog gauges. It can also be looking for defects. Like we could monitor cracks, rust, corrosion, and we can monitor this also over time. We'll be very precise about it and also pinpoint it in the model. The second use case is remote operations or teleoperations. So that means that you can sit anywhere in the world and you can run a robot to be your eyes and ears on the facility, even if it's a remote facility. This is really good for facilities that are very remote. It can also be very good for dangerous facilities that might have toxic chemicals, environments that are very bad for a human. And also it can be a very good way to bring in remote experts to your site. So the third use case is asset tracking. So in a lot of, for instance, yards, there is a lot of equipment. There might be tens of thousands of pieces of equipment. It might also be a lot of workers. It might be 5,000 workers looking for these pieces of equipment, spending a lot of time on finding those. Using robots, we do asset tracking. So the robot moves around and it pinpoints the location and makes all of these items searchable. So we find things like trailers, containers, lifting harnesses, lifting supports. It could be anything. Anything that you can see with computer vision or anything that you can detect with a barcode or something like that. It's all made into data, searchable data. And this is again brought out to the users of this data on a mobile phone or a tablet or any device they might want to choose to get to the data. So now they can actually search for all this equipment and just say, I need a lifting harness, and they can find exactly that. The fourth use case is just the management of data. So Cognite Data Fusion is a product that merges and fuses together all the data from all these different sources. It's from sensor data, it's from all the documentation. So we read all the documentation like a person and figure out the essence of it and the data from it. We read also all the diagrams. So we can read whatever equipment is connected to what and in what way and what the equipment is. And we read all the 3D models, the laser scans or the photogrammetry scans that you have of your equipment. Then all of this is fused in Cognite Data Fusion so that it's all linked. So if I want to know what I know about this pump, for instance, I get everything we know about that. The 3D model, the live sensor data, the diagrams, the connected equipment, all of those types of things as well. So this enables then the robots and the people to have very easy access to data without any manual cleaning of the data, gathering of the data, reporting of the data, or spending time on that, rather going just to the use case and start solving use cases because the data is made ready in Cognite Data Fusion. Then, how does this all work? So like some examples. If, for instance, I have a crack and I want to monitor that, you would go in the 3D model, you just click the crack, or you click the picture that you took manually of the crack once, and then the robot will go out there, let's say every day, and take a picture of that crack. The images of that crack will then go up into Cognite Data Fusion and be made available to anybody that needs it. It could be you, could be your employees, your partners, or anyone in the ecosystem that you give access to get these images analyzed or verified. It can also be computer vision algorithms that either you or your partners create on that to automatically detect, maybe measure the length of this crack. So I think that in conclusion, in 2020, we have seen that the world requires a new way for us to work. And doing autonomous operations is definitely one of the answers to that. But doing autonomous automation projects requires a lot of knowledge about the site. And by using Cognite Data Fusion, we get all that information stored in one place. So why would you want to work with Cognite on this? It is because we have codified the knowledge from all the workers that usually work with this data into the platform. The domain expertise that is now into code, and it's a product that you can use and that does this data fusion automatically. In that way, we can actually deploy robots to a site, and we can also deploy robots to sites at scale. Thank you so much.